And James, your first ride for Prince Khalid was aboard Kingman in the Celerio Stakes, off to a winning start and got the monkey off your back pretty quick.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people were putting a lot of pressure on all that and the rest of it. It was crazy, really. Obviously, I rode Cityscape for Prince Khalid, so I felt absolutely no pressure at all. But no, I was pleased with Kingman. He's a lovely horse, fantastic temperament. You know, good action. He's clearly got a lot of ability, and you know, obviously it was a shame that he sustained an injury and couldn't run again. But hopefully he'll be back next season. I know the race. You know, the Celerio wasn't kind of, you know, it wasn't much of a race, but I was very pleased. I didn't touch him with the whip. It was just like a piece of work for him, really, and he couldn't do any more than what he did.
You just said there you felt no pressure at all when you rode Kingman. I just want to read you a quote from Teddy Beckett, who, of course, when you accepted the job, he said, "He has a very good racing brain. He's cool under pressure and he's pretty strong in the finish." Roger Charlton says he's very relaxed. The big occasions don't get to him. And do you think that's what makes a good sportsman, that you don't get nervous, you don't get too wound up about the big days?
I think at the end of the day, it's part of your job to kind of conduct yourself in the right manner and have the right frame of mind and all the rest of it. And I think, you know, if you did, obviously you get the butterflies in your stomach because you're kind of excited at the prospect, you know, before a big race, what the outcome might be, and you know, it'd be fantastic if you could win the race. But I think it'd be, I don't know, it just wouldn't feel right to get kind of nervous before you went out for a race. I don't know, I just see it would kind of, has to impede your judgment or has to affect your kind of mentality during a race. I think if you were nervous beforehand, but I don't know. I don't seem to get nervous like kind of Mr. Charlton says. I'm always fairly relaxed. Obviously, he's the right man to kind of comment on that because I've ridden for him on some pretty big days. So.
When you cross that winning line after winning the race at the top level in front of 40,000-50,000 people at Ascot, what's the feeling like?
It's very hard to put into words. It's each time when I reflect back on my nice winners, my Group 1 winners, I kind of always look back at it and think I'd love to go back and kind of, I don't think I took it in or appreciated it as much as, I think I appreciated it, but I just don't think I took it in as much as, you know, it's a lot to take in. And I'd love to go back to each winner and kind of take it in, take on board what's really kind of happening, really.
Is there anything in a race, in perhaps your particular style, that you think, oh, I just need to brush up on that a little bit? Or
there's things in my mind, yeah, that I'd you know, that I'd always kind of pick up on, and you know, other people probably wouldn't necessarily see them, and I kind of know, watching the replays, I'll pick them out, and you know, it frustrates me a bit, and I try and iron out them creases. But in you know, a jockey can never kind of, same as any sport, you can never stop improving, really. So you're learning and improving the whole time. Obviously, when you get a bit older and you're starting to do well and all the rest of it, you have to kind of form your own, you know, you have to be your own person, really. But you know, I looked up to, you know, the likes of Jamie Spencer and Richard Hughes when I was growing up. Obviously, Richard Hughes is a similar kind of, he's got a similar frame to me. He's quite tall and skinny, so you know, I always looked up to him when I was growing up, and you know, I'd always go to him for advice and all the rest of it. So.
And when you look back on your career so far, obviously you're in the infancy of it, really. What's been your proudest achievement so far? What race have you got the most pleasure from?
I think the day at Royal Ascot, all you know, that as a day was probably, you know, it was pretty. I was very proud the next day, reading the papers and all the rest of it. It did, you know, I was very happy with myself after that. That was probably the biggest day of my life, really.
How do you see your life perhaps being in 5 years' time? How would you like it to be?
Keep everyone happy, keep doing the right things, and you know, keep moving forward, and hopefully, you know, the chances of getting another Frankel come along are probably going to be slim, but hopefully we can have one that's, you know, if we had one come along that was half as good as Frankel, then I think we'd be doing all right. But yeah, just keep, you know, I want to be seen as, when I retire, as a top-class jockey, and you know, I just want to ride as many winners as I can, nice winners, on ride as many nice horses as I can. Really, I'd love to be champion jockey, obviously, but it doesn't seem to. These days, it's, you know, if it went on prize money, it'd be kind of different. But I think the way it is at the minute, it's, you know, it's a jockey who's obviously it's hard to give examples because you know all the champion jockeys are obviously fantastic riders, but at the end of the day, it's the jockey who's willing to go, you know, work the hardest and go the furthest throughout the season, really. And you know, the way Richard Hughes worked towards the end of the season was pretty amazing. You know, you have to take your hat off to him. Really, he really was getting stuck in. And you know, I think it would be a better kind of system if it worked on prize money. Really, I think, you know, the guys that are winning the Ryan Moores, winning, you know, countless amounts of Group 1s each season should, you know, that should come into it, I think.